Yes, hello everyone. Good afternoon, or wherever it is you're watching from. Welcome to a packed round table, the first of its kind, where we'll be having our guest, Mr. Yinka Quadiri. He'll be taking us through a conversation around, some of the security challenges that we've had in this country. We'll be looking at the ways that we have solved that problem. We'll look at some of the root causes of the problem, and we're going to look at some of the power dynamics that has been at play. So, Mr. Yinka Quadiri, welcome to the stream.
Thank you, and thank you very much. I'm grateful to be part of this meeting, and I thank you for your efforts all around trying to get our country working again. Thank you so much, and I welcome all our other
Thank you
participants
very
from
much for
wherever they
that.
are in the world. We shall succeed by God's grace. Thank you so much.
Yes, I do believe that we would succeed. Your camera is a bit slanted to, if you can turn it a bit so that it captures you in the frame a lot more. Okay. Thank you very much for that. So I just wanted to take people through a brief journey of how we met. I remember I got in contact with you after watching a video of yours. That was shortly after the initial communication from the president of the United about coming into Nigeria to stop the genocide of Christians. That was the messaging at that time, and he kind of came out and made that I would say threat to the Nigerian government, basically saying if you don't do something about the security challenges that you have and genocide happening, that will have to come in and do something about it. And I remember watching your video, talking about that, and that it was very interesting. So I said, let me reach out. That this is something I would like to hear more from you about. And that has been, the start of this kind of relationship where I've been able to share ideas, share knowledge over that topic, the topic of insecurity and various other topics so far. But before we go into the details of the conversation for today, I would just like you to maybe just share a brief background about yourself, what you do, and how exactly what led you up to this point where you're doing research about the security problems in Nigeria and your interests and your passion about the transformation of Nigeria, like how the journey led up to this point. Can you just start with that?
Thank you so much once again, the convener and moderator. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. It's a long story and it's a very long journey, but I will try to be very brief. The journey actually started sometime in 1993. That's a little over 30 years ago. That was about a little over 30 years ago, and it was inspired by the elections that took place then in Nigeria, the general elections, where we had Bashir Tofa and MKO Abiola as the primary contenders in PDP, in SDP, and NRC. Then we had only two political parties, and the whole process was being conducted by the military that was in power then. Of course, it was an aberration that in this time and age, we still have a country that is being ruled by the military. But we were excited, therefore, that, okay, the season of the jackboot was coming to an end, and a new season of civilization is coming in. So a lot of people put their hope in that process. Unfortunately, I saw through Babangida, who was at the helm of affairs at that time, and I had the suspicion that he was just being fraudulent as usual, politically fraudulent as usual. and that he wasn't going to come true with his plans. Of course, that was quite there on one side of my mind, but I also felt that, well, okay, you don't know how far you can go until you try. Let's see how far. Let this man even prove me right. But I was praying deep down my heart that I was wrong. Unfortunately, the election came and the results were gathered. But unfortunately, the man did what I personally expected of him. He stopped the continuation of the release of the election results and eventually annulled the election. Of course, at that time, the election was considered to be the freest and the best elections in Nigeria since the beginning of Nigeria, because everybody was involved in it because of MK Abiola, who was at that time a major leader in Nigeria. And he had his influence all across the country. I'm not sure there has been any other person who has been able to build such a goodwill in the annals of the Nigerian history across board like that. So, of course, after the election, it was obvious that no one else could have won that election. I mean, Bashir Tofa was the non-starter where an MKO Abiola was. And of course, we all knew what was happening, but we believe that it was just the ambition of one man, Babangida, not to let power go, that caused him to take that decision. Of course, there have been many theories about what happened that period, but the bottom line was that, but what history will never forget is that during the reign of a man who conducted the freest and the fairest election in Nigeria, he refused to let power go, and he himself disorganized what he organized. So, I mean, that is a fact of history. It's now left between him and posterity to clear his name. He's old now. I hope he can still do much out of that. So that event shook me to my own marrow, because I couldn't fathom in my innocence then how a people as populous as Nigeria was then would go into elections, cast their ballots, choose their preferred leader, and just one man, or a group of men, however you look at it, would then come and say, oh no, this can't work because we're not happy with it. For me, it was unbelievable, it was unacceptable, and it was intolerable. And I was convinced that we had to do something about it. How on earth will just one man come and annul the decision of the whole country? So that was where the journey of my nation building activities started. And then I resolved that nothing like that will come up again. Looking back, I could say it was naivety. I could say it was genuineness of spirit. But looking back, it seemed what Babangida did then is like a child's play compared to what we are having now. That constant degeneration has not been gradual. It has been very fast. So, and here we are today. How many years after? 30-something years after. Has Nigeria become a better place? Have we been able to develop a political process where the people can choose whoever they want to lead them? So, but between then and now, I have passed through a lot of processes, and I have jumped through a lot of valleys. I have swam many seas, including a time that I got particularly agitated enough to gather a group of people, and we did a walk from a 45 days walk from Lagos to Abuja. That was in 2018. Between January and March, we were on the road from Lagos to Abuja. Not only that, I'm trying to cut it, so that, I won't take our time, but if there's more space later, and some people want more elaboration, I can do that. I also remember that in 2010, between 2019 and 2010, when Yar'Adua took ill after he assumed the presidency of Nigeria, and there was what was called power vacuum at that time. I was a critical member of the Save Nigeria group, which was led then by Pastor Tunde Bakare. I was one of the national coordinators of that project, and with him, we went around the country to mobilize the Nigerian people, which we did successfully. And Save Nigeria group became like the opposition party in Nigeria at that time. Whereas PDP was the party in power, there was no really strong opposition party at that time, because we had PDP, we had ANC, we had ACN, that is now merged with other parties to form what we now know as the APC. So at that time it was ACN, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the leader of the party as the governor of Lagos State at that time. So there was really no strong opposition to PDP until Save Nigeria group came, and the group became the opposition, though not a political party, but it was a political movement that became the opposition. And I'm proud to say that I was a very critical member of the process. We had so many rallies, marches, and demonstrations. I hope people won't forget the fuel subsidy rally that we did across the country, and the height was with it. The height of it held in Lagos at Ojota, where we said no, we do not want the government to remove fuel subsidy. And incidentally, the leader of the current government also supported that agenda. I remember very vividly that he supported the agenda. Why he now has to do the same thing now, being in power, I don't know. But that time I was part of that process. I'm talking about my own history now. And of course, when that one went, and then there was a confliction of vision, because when we went to the Save Nigeria group, we were thinking about how to rebirth Nigeria. But somehow along the line, there was a confliction of vision among those who were managing the process. And then the whole thing fizzled out. But thereafter, people like us didn't give up. It was after then that I led a group to embark on that peace walk from Lagos to Abuja. And the peace walk was also initiated because of the violence that was already going on in Nigeria at that time, 2018. And we felt it was unacceptable for Nigeria to be experiencing what we thought was extremely impossible in Nigeria at that time. Because at that time, I remember that we hear these things in Afghanistan, we hear it in from foreign countries. And so we were so convinced that, look, it can't happen in Nigeria. So when it happened, some of us felt, oh, let's create attention around it so that we can quickly nip it in the bud. So that was how we embarked on that work, and we ended up at the new National Assembly complex in Abuja, the 3 Arms Zone. At the 3 Arms Zone, we commenced the journey from the old National Assembly complex at Tafawa Balewa Square. We started there, and we ended up at the National Assembly complex in Abuja. So that was how that work went, and to God be the glory. In its own way, it was successful, because it was also a spiritual cleansing for some of us. To embark on such a tedious process, you can't finish such a thing and become the same person that started the journey. It's not possible. Something in you must have transformed. 45 days of hard work, walking on the road, walking, not cycling, not biking, not driving in any way. So at the end of the day, we all became transformed individuals. And that went. So subsequently, we now began to think about the things that we can do that can practically impact on the Nigerian nation. So we also came up with the idea of Builders of New Nigeria. Then when we saw the way things were going, we felt, okay, maybe restructuring was critical. Why don't we, maybe if we restructure Nigeria, maybe things will become better for the people. So we came up with the restructure actualization movement, which was led by General Henry Ayola. One man, you must have probably heard about him. He's always on the television talking about security as well, because he was actually an active participant in the process of Nigeria securities and safety, because he was at the point the commandant, the joint commander or something of Operation Safe Haven. It was a military installation that was established to handle violence and terrorism and all of this. So we came together, we formed that project, restructure actualization, and we took around a whole part of Nigeria. And eventually, our activities culminated into the restructure actualization summit that held in Abuja sometime in 2021. I think March 2021. He held in Abuja, and it was a huge success as well. All the critical holders in Nigeria were brought together to discuss the future of Nigeria and all of that. So, but thereafter, things began to take some funny shape across the country, and some of us began to get a bit overwhelmed by the realities of the situation, because not long after, we began to see signs that probably there was a political orchestration of this invasion, and we felt, well, I think it looks as if the government or some part of it is actually conniving with this, with those who are perpetrating this violence. So, and that was for some of us a turning point. It was for some of us a turning point, because before then, I had also led another team from Lagos to the north, largely, including with special focus on the middle belt. We were in Benue. We met Otom was the governor then. We met him. We were in Plateau State. We were in Kaduna. We were in Nasarawa. We were in Abuja. We were in all of these places, and we met people. We went to the hospitals. We went to IDP camps. We went to villages that have been destroyed. We saw all of these things ourselves. So, and therefore, whatever you get from me today is going to be a first-hand information, because I'm not talking about guessworks. I'm not talking about second-hand. I was there. We were there. I led the team there, and I am proud to say that the convener of this program has copies of the multimedia from that experience. We even held a couple of press conferences. It was also in the air. It means a few television houses, featured the visits, channels, television, AIT, all around. Even NT at a point also featured.
I saw the conversation on channels.
So God bless you, sir. So these were some of the things that I have done. I'm sorry I couldn't put them chronologically, but I'm trying to create an impression so that you can easily understand where some of us are coming from. And I would also want to mention before I round up, and to mention that for all of my life, there was no time that I took up a formal job to do. As a professional, my core areas of competence are communication, strategy, and development. And in all of these, I have done so much to educate myself, apart from going to school, getting a degree. I have done a lot of work, because really and truly, there are no universities of strategy. So it's a new field. People are just coming around and thinking about what they can do with it now. Of course, there's business strategy, but that's not what we are talking about. But there are some schools that are running military strategy as well. But when you begin to see strategy as part of life, that is a different ballgame entirely. So, in the course of all of this time, I have tried to make some money engaging in some of these things: communication with people, with organizations, strategy sometimes. But I have never really gotten a job. I've never really applied for a job in my life, because for me, Nigeria is a sufficient job to pursue. But it's just unfortunate that it seems you are the only person that is imbued with that spirit to want to build a nation that is working for everybody. And then at this point, I think I will want to apply the brakes. If there's any question regarding what I have said so far, I'll be ready to take the question. But if not, I will return the mic to the convener of the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And that was a very detailed exposition. And some of the things I wanted to touch on next, you touched on them briefly, because you shared a document with me that contained your thoughts about the problem of insecurity and what you thought about what the root causes are, and then your opinions on the move by the president of the United States at that time. That seemed to have died down a bit now, although we had news that troops were deployed to some parts of the country and things like that. So we'll be going into more conversation around that topic later on, the subject of the text. But I would just like you to maybe share a little bit more light on some of those places you've gone to, because you said something that stood out to me when we first had a conversation about this, when you said you have gone to some of these the place where have been hit with insecurity, and you've even had conversations with some of the kingpins and some of these insurgent members themselves, and you've or some of the leaders of those communities where some of these things have happened. And you said that one of the general preconception is that there is a religious undertone to the problem of insecurity. But you said the people who are doing these things, they are not really doing it for religion. Most of them are animists and things like that, but that it's more of an ethnic or a tribal thing. That from what you've discovered from your research and from your engagements in these communities. So first of all, can you just maybe tell us a little bit about some of those communities that you've been to, some of those conversations that you've had, and then share a little bit about your thoughts on the nature of the insecurity problem and why you think it's not primarily religious, but instead it's more of an agenda around ethnic domination of the sort.
Thank you very much. You have really hit the nail on the head. And incidentally, and unfortunately, this is the conversation that our people do not want to engage in. But how long are we continuing to hide from our shadows? How long?
Exactly.
It takes a lot of courage to ask the question you have asked. It takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of courage as well to attempt an answer to that question. But of course, we can't continue to go like this. We can't continue like this. So we must summon the courage to do what is needful for the sake of our coming generations, not just for our own sake. Because some of us we are probably at our twilight now, and we can only hope that we will be able to live a country where those coming behind can be proud of. So we should not have anything to fear anymore. We must speak the truth and then let the people determine what to do. But in speaking the truth anyway, the idea is not to flare up anger or to cause further conflict and confrontation. The idea is for us to really understand the full dynamics of what is happening, and then we can come to a honest deliberation on how we are going to go solving the problem. Because really and truly, no sensible person can deny that this is not a religious agenda. This is an ethnic agenda. Nobody. For your information, I was speaking with some people from the north not long ago, particularly the Hausa people, and they are saying that, look, they are being killed. The Hausas, Muslims in Hausa land are being killed now. So that if it's a religious agenda, why are Muslims in Nigeria being killed? Unfortunately, many Christians who don't understand the rudiments of all of these things, and that's a shame. Many Christian leaders, rather than make effort like I did to go over and look at what is really happening so that they can understand how to solve the problem. They will be in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, and all that, and they will be coming up with very spurious contentions and exporting that same ignorance to countries abroad, and those ones too will be acting on the ignorance that is being sold to them and take actions that will compound the crisis that we are trying to solve. The truth of the matter is that if you go back into Nigeria history, I'm talking about 100 years ago, 200 years ago, something happened in the northwest where you call the Hausa land today. The place was invaded. I mean, this is history. This is facts. You don't. It is not. I'm not asking for your for confirmation. I'm telling you where I'm putting my opinion out. I'll let you know. But where I'm talking about facts, I'll also let you know. In 18 something, Hausa land was invaded by an ethnic group called the Fulanis. The Fulanis were never part of Nigeria before. They were not even, some people say they were in Futajalo, but basically they were not even part of Africa. Originally, long time. If you look at the history of the world, the entire population on the continent of Africa were all blacks. We used to be black, like me, like this, dudu, black, as in full black, ebony black, charcoal black. In current history, where you now have, in current reality, where you now have white men in Libya, in Egypt, in Morocco, the whole of North Africa, it's an aberration. It's not that was not how that was not how Africa was. They came. Those places were invaded by these people. They fought them, conquered them, drove many away. They killed many. Of course, it was a war. It was a confrontation. Killed many, drove some away, took over the place. That's the truth. That is the truth of history. I'm not asking for opinion here, because that is a fact. All you need to do is go on research and inquire if what I'm saying is true or false. Now, when they saw how pleasant it was to stay in Africa, because one of the best continents to stay in the whole world is Africa. You don't hear about sand dunes. You don't hear about drought. You don't hear about erosion. You don't hear about, well, you can hear about, there's some erosion in Nigeria yet a bit, but you don't hear about major floods like we have all around the world. No tsunami, no hurricane, no volcano, no cloud ash. So basically, Africa is where people live without a house, because you don't really need it. You don't even need clothes on your body. The weather is fine. In fact, at the point you don't even have to. You can't even wear clothes because of the heat. Unlike places where you can't stay without wearing clothes, you can't stay without being in a house, in a shed to protect you from the harsh climatic environment. So when these people saw Africa as, oh, and the people there too, because we have been nice to one another. There was no competition. There was no hustling in Africa. Africa is one place you can cultivate your ground for 12 months in a year. To find something to eat, all you need to do is stretch your hand. You will see fruit, even without these fruits are not even cultivated. They grow naturally. So there was no need for any competition because the food was there. You don't need anything. So Africans, I can tell you that is one of the reasons that Africa is not developed scientifically. Because at that time in the history of Africa, we didn't have any reason to be curious and to be adventurous, because the situation was good enough for human survival. Unlike places where you have snow, where you walk on ice, you put water outside your outside your house. Before you come there in the next morning, it has become solid like ice. And people who live in that environment have to be creative. They have to come up with all kinds of devices that can help them survive that environment. In Africa, we didn't have that, and probably that's the bane of our own heritage, which is what we have to live up to now and begin to rewrite it. Yeah. So these people, when they successfully overran North Africa, they felt, well, they can take over the rest of the place now, and they began the incursion further into other places in Africa, until they got to the Savannah region. I'm talking about Mali, Niger, and all of that. And therefore, after that, they got into Hausa land. And what they did when they got to Hausa land is what, of course, they have always been doing all over too. They exterminated all the leaders of the Hausa people and installed their own traditional rulers that they call emirs. In the whole history of Hausa land, they have their own culture, they have their own lifestyle. They call it and it's led by the Habe dynasty. So, and their leaders are called Seriki, not emirs. Emir is a Fulani invention. So when they came, they were going to take over the entire area called Nigeria, but the Europeans now came from West Africa too. They also saw a land that is fertile. They saw a people that are so sedentary, people who are not violent, people who just live life as it comes. The people who don't need to plan for the future. Because what are you planning for? What are you planning? You want to eat today, you will see something to eat. Is it protein, meat, fish, birds? Anything you want to eat is available to you. The weather is good to you. So there was really no need for extensive planning or reorganization of themselves. So when the Europeans also came, they saw these people living a primary life. No agenda, not I wouldn't say no ambition, because there was no need for ambition really. But there was no agenda, there was no planning, because life was good to us in Africa. But because of where they are coming from, they had to fight one another for the scarce resources that they had there. They had to kill one another. They were when we talk about barbarity, Africans are not barbaric. But if you look at these invading forces from the north and from the west, and from the north and from the south, those are the ones that are barbaric, really. So, because they came with their violence and you say military superiority, so they were able to dominate us, and they dominated our ancestors, took over the place. But because European powers were stronger than the invading Arabs, they met, they clashed, and the Arabs were overwhelmed by the Europeans. So then they now came up with their own government and governance system and all of that. So they were able to keep Nigeria. They kind of froze the situation at that time. And the only place we now had Fulani was majorly was in the northwest. These same people tried invading northeast, but the Kanuris fought back very viciously. They also tried to invade some places in the middle belt, including the Tivland and all of that. They also fought back viciously. And they were able to reach out to somewhere they call Ilorin, because a Yoruba leader there compromised. All of these ambitions and all of that. He sought the help of one of the invaders, and they were able to drive the traditional, the Oba away there. But when they succeeded in driving the other one away, the invaders killed the man who brought them in, and they took over the place. And that's why today in Ilorin, you will hear of Emir of Ilorin. Emir is an anathema in a Yoruba land. Ilorin is a Yoruba land.
Exactly.
we have Obas. Yeah. So, but I'm just telling you I'm just telling you historical facts. Ha. So when the Europeans now finally felt it was time for them to go, we thought, I think a lot of Nigerians in their ignorance thought the agenda was over. The agenda of conquest, colonization, and cannibalization by the Arabs. But what do I put it now? They thought that, okay, we are one. Yeah, they thought we are one, and therefore we don't need to fight one another. We don't need to be suspicious of one another. But it seemed as if that agenda was not completely abandoned. And I think that is what has culminated into what we are seeing today, where some people think, oh, it is our right to dominate these people, to rule them continuously, to determine how their lives and death should be. And I must tell you, if there's any reason to doubt or to question what I'm saying, please go ahead. Where you think I have gone wrong, please let me know, and we can clarify the issues. Now,
I understand.
Yeah. So when it became very obvious that it may not be easy for them to use subterfuge and subtlety to gain domination, I think they now resorted into violence. Because, I mean, if you look at Nigeria is a multi-religious society. Why should anybody want Nigeria to be in OIC? For crying out loud. OIC is Organization of Islamic Conference. Why should anybody want Nigeria to be in OIC?
Exactly.
For what? If Nigeria is Nigeria is not an Islamic nation, and it will never be an Islamic country. It can't be. And that's you true. See, where I blame our leaders across the world, I mean across Nigeria, is that they have tolerated so much to the point that they are now, as the victims, they are now becoming the villains, because we have tolerated so much. Okay, how on earth, my brother, if you look at the currencies of Nigeria, look at them all. What you are going to see inscribed on the currency is Arabic. Some funny writing. Ask yourself, I mean, should you not ask yourself why there should be Arabic on Nigeria's currency? On what ground should we have Arabic on Nigeria's currency? Do we speak Arabic? We don't speak Arabic in any way, either as an adopted language or an indigenous language. We don't. We have good reason to speak English, because that's the language of our colonizers, and it's bringing us all up. It's bringing us all together. So what has Arabic got to do with it? And not only that, if you also look at the army insignia, the logo of the army, you also see Arabic there. This is not acceptable. So I'm just saying, but beyond all of that, let's look at the violence that is taking place in Nigeria today. Have you asked yourself how many of these invaders, terrorists and kidnappers and killers has been ever been arrested and prosecuted? How many? Are you aware of anyone that, oh, we have prosecuted 10
That's been
kidnappers,
one of the
we have
biggest problems.
prosecuted? Why is that a problem? Is it that they have not caught anyone? But the military came out to confirm that they caught some terrorists. Do you know what they said they did with those terrorists? Can you remember? You can't remember.
They usually say they rehabilitate them and then they send them back into the country.
No, they rehabilitated them and integrate them into our security force.
Exactly.
I mean, where in the world? No, tell me, my dear leader, where in the world is that done? Where in the world, tell me, is that done? That you will. So the problem with Nigeria's insecurity is not that we do not have the firepower to deal with the insecurity in Nigeria. No, please, never you think about that. The problem of insecurity is not kinetic, it is political. If you leave Nigeria's military to do the job they have sworn to do, they will clear the insecurity in Nigeria within the next 3 months. Put Nigeria's security in my care. Within 3 months, we will liberate Nigeria completely from any of this terror, any of this nonsense. 3 months. But it is evident that there is a conspiracy somewhere. Of course, many military and intelligence officers have been saying that in Nigeria. A lot of people have come up, even General Danjuma. No, was it Danjuma? Yeah, Danjuma. T.Y. Danjuma has come out to say there is a complicity between the government and these killers. What has anybody done about it? So the truth is that, except we just want to keep fooling ourselves, what is going on in Nigeria is not insecurity it's not a matter of insecurity. It's a matter of terrorist invasion with the orchestration of some local interests. These local interests are bringing in these invaders because of an agenda, which is take over Nigeria. At this point, I am not going to be mincing my words. And I don't need any professional soldier or anything to tell me what is going on. Anybody can see. Anybody who looks deep enough can see what is going on now. Because, I mean, when you talk about, okay, look at the issue of grazing routes. So, oh, you want grazing roads in Nigeria? They should give authority to some people, some people to be grazing their cattle across the country in Nigeria. Where is that still done? If the intention was genuinely for economic reasons, where is it done? Which sane society? I'm not talking about countries like Nigeria today, but I'm talking about sane societies. Argentina, I think, is the largest producer of cattle in the world. They don't graze cattle. They do ranches. And so with many other countries in the world. And with the case of Nigeria, the best place to rear animal for livestock breeding is in the north. Why don't you build ranches for them? And there's a lot of land in the north. Sambisa Forest, for instance, is a forest that is unoccupied.
A lot of land.
Go there, clear the place, demarcate the place, allocate portions to people that are interested in grazing, in livestock farming. Then Go to somewhere else, cultivate animal feeds, produce the ones you can produce mechanically, grow the ones you can grow, buy them, pay for them, bring them, come and feed your cattle. When your cattle is big enough, sell them. I honestly don't know how difficult that is. That at this time and age, somebody will be insisting that they need to have a grazing route in Nigeria at this point in time. That logic comes with a lot of problems on its own. It exposes the cattle themselves, it exposes the cattle rearers, it exposes the family of the cattle rearers, because and it threatens the security of the entire country. People with no fixed addresses, if anything happens, where do you want to track them to? You know, these things shouldn't have been tolerated for this long. And I don't know why our people have allowed that to happen for this, this far. Thank you. Yeah, we were speaking about the. Okay, I sorry, I didn't address fully the issue of the American intervention in the but I have but my response has actually dealt with some of the issues there. So
yes, we'll actually still go back there. We'll touch on some of your views on that as well. We'll be touching on that. And that's been a very detailed exposition. And a lot of the things that you've said are things that I agree with. I remember one of the things that I addressed to when a lot of these issues was, coming and recurring and the security challenges were recurring. I was like, this issue of cattle grazing should be like the first thing. If any government or any society is actually interested in solving this problem, that cattle grazing problem is the first thing that you address. But for some reason, as a country, we've just produced people into positions of political leadership that have no interest, or at least no determination, no willingness to actually go and solve this single problem. Which, if you take that one out of the way, I think a lot of that problem goes out of the way, although there are other things you still have to do as well, which we can have conversations around before this live stream ends. But that's kind of the low-hanging fruit any serious government will actually have gone after to fix. But for some reason, that's not been done, which is to tell us that probably that interest has not been there all this while. And that's why the problem has persisted. But I want to maybe challenge a take. So when you say that you believe, so I want to press you on this, the claim that you said, if the Nigerian military was unleashed, yes, if they were unleashed to tackle this problem of insecurity, that this is a problem that they could have handled, that they would handle in 3 months. So are you talking in terms of maybe if that was done maybe years ago, like at a particular time in the past, or if that was done right now in the present? Because when I look at the problem currently, I am not very convinced that we have the military infrastructure that we have currently, the military system that we have currently, doesn't look to me like it's well staffed, well equipped to be able to handle this problem, considering that the problem has really spread.
You see, before
that exists. So that's something that I've looked at to say I'm not sure that the current military system that we have can tackle the problem effectively.
Hold on, my dear brother.
Okay.
Hold on, my dear brother. You see,
you can go ahead and address
we have had security experts come on air, television station, radio station, the newspapers talking about all of these jargons about this and something. It's all BS. The insecurity problem in Nigeria is very simple. It's very simple. one of the simplest things that you can deal with if there is a commitment to solving the problem. I agree with you that things have changed from those days to the current situation. I agree completely. But where there is the political will and the president and his advisors are ready to do something. See, there are two, 3, 4 strategies that can be adopted. For instance, why are we reluctant to empower local communities to defend themselves? Why?
Exactly.
Look,
that's something I will never understand.
In the Southwest, let's even assume that the number of soldiers we have and the number of the security officers we have across board in Nigeria is not enough to deal with the matter. In the Southwest, the government said, okay, we will support the federal government in ensuring security in our land. They went out of their way to create a vigilante force called Amotekun, with the intention of legitimately training them, arming them to support the forces of the federal government to protect their communities. Are you aware the government did not allow that? And probably up till now, I'm not sure, the government is still not receptive to the idea of communities defending themselves. I remember the case of the case that there was a case that happened in somewhere in Edo State, where they said some people, some locals in the state, lynched a bus containing some northerners and killed all of them and all of that. That is pathetic. That is unacceptable. That is not right. But if you see the swift response from the government, threatening fire and brimstone on those that did it and what they're going to do to deal with the matter, then you ask yourself, where is this government when other people are killed by these same people? Recently, about 200 people were abducted from Kwara State. People were killed. What has been the response? You wonder, why is the response to one crisis different from the other? Why? Why? You know, it just goes to show that there is a political underpinning to all of these things. I remember there was a time that, you know, it's just so shameful that, in fact, now let me amuse you a bit. It's sad, it's tragic, but let me just amuse you a bit. Have you ever heard anywhere in the world? Have you ever heard anywhere in the world where criminals are celebrated, they are decorated and rewarded? Apart from Nigeria, have you ever seen any such thing in the world? That's number one. And as a matter of elaboration, it's only in Nigeria. I saw a picture online. It was also in the newspapers, where a bandit was having a meeting with a state governor in Nigeria. Maybe sometime last year or so. And the bandit had a gun, AK-47. Maybe you didn't see it. The bandit had a gun, AK-47, slung across his shoulder. And the governor was standing beside him. And military generals were also standing behind him.
Several pictures of that nature.
God bless. I mean, where in the world does that happen? Where? Tell me. If we are sane people, if we are really sane people, I mean, a criminal, a self-confessed criminal, demonstrating criminality, because it's illegal to carry gun in Nigeria. I'm not talking about a military grade gun, a military assault rifle. It is to carry any gun in Nigeria, either Dane gun or double barrel, all of these hunters guns, is even illegal without a license. Now, somebody who doesn't have a license, or whose license ought to have been revoked because of his criminality, is probably coming to tell you he's a bandit, the leader of a bandit group. And a governor, I think it's Katsina State or something, I can't remember exactly. Now, visiting the state house, that bandit visiting the state house, and the governor standing right beside him, with military generals behind them. And no, where in any sane society will that have happened? So when people refer to Nigeria as shithole country or a disgraced country, do you as a Nigerian with integrity, will you want to fight over that? I mean, how can my own government be posing? It's like legitimizing the business. Then, leave that aside. You also remember there was a governor in Kaduna State at the time that came out to say that he paid some money to some bandits to pacify them. I don't know if you can remember. I think it was during the time of El Rufai or something. Nasir. That he gave gave money to bandits to pacify them. How? Yeah, billions of naira, I presume. And to make the matter worse, when others rise up to defend themselves, this same government will rally together and invade that area and disarm the people. I mean, there are documented evidence of all of this. I'm sure you can recollect not long ago when there was a group in Northeast calling themselves, I don't know what name now, I've forgotten the name they call themselves. Is it Biafra, something, I don't know. You know, Southeast has different, there's one they call IPOB. There's one they call, that's independent.
IPOB, yes.
IPOB. There's one they call MASOB. MASOB is
yes, there was MASOB at the time too.
MASOB, there's IPOB and all of that. When the government was ready to deal with IPOB, maybe you can recollect what the government did. That was about some years ago. The whole place was invaded and brutal. In fact, people, the place was invaded by the Nigerian military, and the whole place was calmed down. Everybody took to their heels and ran away. When the military is ready to work in Nigeria, look, you don't joke with Nigeria's military. Is it not the military that goes abroad to do exercises and do foreign assignments, and they decorate them, they commend them, they come back with a lot of laurels and praises? The same military. So you are now telling me the military that can go and overwhelm IPOD, subdue IPOD, the military that can go to the south, subdue the Delta rioters, is that same military that can't deal with Boko Haram and deal with this Fulani militia or deal with these bandits? My brother, you see, the first thing I will recommend to solve Nigeria's problem is that we, the citizen, are we sincere with ourselves? And are we ready to take responsibility? Now, in all of this, have you ever seen anybody from the Northwest come out and say, we condemn this thing these people are doing, and we will support the military and the government to do what is needful to stop this violence, these killings, and these kidnappings? Have you ever seen any critical leader in the Northwest come out and say, look, I'm doing that, look, organize a major press conference and say, look, we disclaim these people, we condemn what they are doing, we will work the military to stop this nonsense. Have you ever seen such? And I will dare to mention names. There is a man who is supposed to be the leader of all of the Fulanis in Nigeria, the southern of Sokoto. Where is the evidence of his displeasure with all of these things that's going on? I am not saying it's part of what is going on. I am not saying he knows what is going on. I'm not claiming anything, but I'm just saying that as a father who has children, presumably, as a leader of a human community, part of which is also being brutalized and despoiled and cannibalized, why haven't they like call a meeting of all emirs in the north, particularly northwest? They come together and say, look, we disclaim this thing that is going on, it must stop right away. Why haven't they done that? So these are the issues. Then for the 8 years of Buhari in government, why hasn't he declared a state of emergency on the insecurity? If you were a president of Nigeria, if you were the president of Nigeria, I'm sure that's what you would have done from day one. Like, look, what nonsense. Please, if there are no resources, I will stop. Why in Nigeria today, why must we be building roads when there's still insecurity in Nigeria? Tell me why we should be building roads. With the level of insecurity in Nigeria, tell me why all the resources should not go into ensuring safety of the Nigerian people. Of what use is a road that is good to dead people? Which same road, some people go there and kill people. They will lay people on those roads and kill people there. Tell me, what is the use of those roads? Tell me. You are building universities. What is the use of universities that people go there to pack, to kidnap people, kill people, and take them away? Tell me. So you ask yourself, are we serious people really? And if our government cannot do this effectively, why are the people so silent? Why are we so silent? Why are we so accommodating to these kind of things? Why? Why? So, my dear brother, and that's why when they say, they want the foreign countries. In fact, Israel has also indicated interest in Nigeria security. Can you imagine Israel down there? Israel down there, that small shinkini nation. You can call it shinkini nation, a nation of less than 10 million people. Israel is less than 10 million. Are you aware? Israel is less than 10 million people. Over 50% of Nigerian, almost 50% of Nigerian states are bigger than Israel. Are you aware that Israel is less than 10 million people? Israel that wants to come and help us deal with insecurity in a country of over 200 million people. No, is that not disgraceful? Tell me, sir, is that not disgraceful? Is that not? So when one junta will come, I will say is a professional in security, and they will start blowing grammar, and I ask myself, what are these people saying? What are they saying? What is so complex about Nigeria's insecurity problem that an average Nigerian cannot discuss it? What is so complex about it? Nothing. Apart from the fact that we are not just sincere with ourselves. We are not just sincere with ourselves. If states are empowered, they can deal with the matter in their states. But the federal government insists that they don't have the right to have state police. You are not taking care of the people's safety, and you are still insisting that they do not have right to defend themselves. Is that not crazy? Now, do we still need somebody abroad to come and tell us that it's a crazy country No, do we? Because you see, life is the most sacred thing on earth. Life. Because once you take it, you can't bring it back.
Mm.
And every life that is taken has ramifications and repercussions on a lot of other people. Every life that is taken, has a ripple effect on other lives. Is it parents? Is it children? Is it spouses? Is it cousins? Is it in-laws? It has one way or the other, it has ramifications. Is it friends? So why are we still dealing with the issue of life and death as if we are dealing with the issue of market buying and selling? Why? And let me now tell you the reason why this crisis is where it is today. It's simply because there is leadership failure in Nigeria. Simple. It is the same reason every other thing has collapsed in Nigeria. Hello? Are you there? You are back. You were away for
Can you
some
hear me
time.
now? Yes. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Yes, the network had some issues.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Thank God you are back. That is part of the problem that we are talking about. You see, where there is leadership failure,
Mm.
my dear leader, nothing works in that country. Because if a country is going to work or a country is going to fail, it's about leadership. Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, no, the followership still has a role to play. The followers still have a role to play. I said, that is BS. It's complete bunkum. Why do we call you a leader? What is the role of a leader? Even by the very definition of that word, leader. You are meant to lead. You are meant to champion. You are meant to be in front. That is by the very definition of that word, leadership. It's about creating paces, new paces. It's about setting paces. It's about creating paradigms. So you know, and it is leadership that affects followers eventually, invariably. Because no matter what the followers do, what can they do? One, they don't have access to resources. They don't have access to structure. They don't have access to policies. So what can they do really? The only thing they can do is come on the streets and begin to destroy things if they have to. But should we push our people to that point? Because invariably and naturally, any people that are pushed to the wall, they will fight back. They will fight back. Indeed, in one of the press conferences we had when we went on the tour of the Middle Belt, in one of the press conferences, I mentioned it and I said it very clearly. Because I heard it from the people myself, and they were saying that, look, they are being pushed, but when they get to the wall, they will fight back. I heard it very clearly. They were saying it in tears. Some were weeping, and you wouldn't even see tears in their eyes anymore. I think that must have been fatigue from crying and weeping. Abba, where is our sense of humanity? Where is our sense of empathy? Whoever is behind all of these things, don't they have any milk of human kindness in them? Why should we continue? Why should we even get to this point? Not to talk about continue like this. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're back again now.
Okay. So I think that one of the major reasons Nigeria is where it is today is because of a complete lack of empathy. Even in the leaders, the leaders, even state governors, even local government chairmen, even traditional rulers, religious leaders, academics, business leaders, why are they quiet? Why can't they feel for the people who can't defend themselves that these villains kill, that these criminals kill? Right? I'm not even asking them to fight. I'm asking them to show empathy, to just feel concerned a bit that what you people are doing is not right. Stop it. Stop it. But unfortunately, nobody is talking. Nobody is showing any sympathy. Nobody is showing any remorse. Everybody is going on as if everything is still fine and okay. And I don't know how long. Hmm.
I think it's back again. So sorry for the network issue.
It's okay. I think Nigeria is catching up. Nigeria is catching up with us on the call. You know, I have a dream for Nigeria.
Seriously, we hope get
No, it
better.
will get better. Nigeria will get better. You see, I am convinced beyond any reasonable doubt Nigeria will work. It will work. So, but some of us are not afraid to say it as it
I believe
is.
so.
Some of us are not afraid to say it as it is. But Nigeria will work eventually. And we will all be proud of it. In the real sense of the word, not pretended pride, but real pride. And it's just a matter of time, small time. Small time.
Absolutely.
You know, but like I was saying, when there is leadership failure, nothing can work. And that's the problem with Nigeria. When we focus on security, we forget that nothing else is working in Nigeria. Nothing else, absolutely. Nothing else is working in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Today, as we speak.
Exactly.
This is a country that produces crude oil. Our people don't have petroleum products to use. They still import petroleum products into a country that's producing crude oil. Is that not a shame? Is that not disgraceful? And do we still need someone to come and tell us that it's a disgraced nation? Are you happy with it? If I may ask you, are you proud of that situation? Are you? And nobody is talking of all of our leaders all across board. Nobody is talking. Everybody feels it's okay to be importing into Nigeria. It is insanity. It is complete insanity. We in a country that we have land, abundant land, that can feed the entire West African coast. If we appropriately deploy that resource. Today, our people are going about hungry. Is that not disgraceful? Is it not disgraceful? Really? Is that not a shame? Is that not a shame? A country that's got abundant water bodies everywhere, we still can't supply ourselves constant and available electricity. Are we not shameful? Are we completely shameless that, in fact, when some people tell me that they are proud of Nigeria, you can't talk ill of Nigeria, I tell them, go to hell. Stop, continue to deceive yourself, but go to hell, and don't you ever try that with me. I mean, are you so shameless that you can't even afford to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth? The country is not working. It's a disgrace. It's not a disgraced country. It is a disgraceful country. It's not only disgrace, it is disgraceful. That is the truth. Nigeria is not working. Why is everybody in Nigeria trying to abscond the country if it was working? And why is Nigeria being insulted? Nigeria has been insulted and abused everywhere else in the world. Why? You tell me. If Nigeria was working, why should someone in America be threatening our people, the black population? Why? If our continent was working, why should we become the brunt of everybody's anger everywhere in the world today? My advice to Nigerians is that they should just think twice and stop and find a way of going back to Nigeria, everybody, and come together and fix that country. Because you see, it's becoming evident now that anywhere you go in the world, so long as you're a black man, particularly in Nigeria, they treat you with disdain. Because they look at you, look at what all the resources that God has put in your care, and look at what you're doing with your lives. Then how else do you want them to treat us? How else? No, you just tell me. How else? If the table was turned, would you do the same? Will you do something different? And look, and they see Nigerians as a threat because we are one of the most educated people in the world. So anywhere we go, we threaten the best of their jobs. So they are not happy with us. They're asking our people, why don't you stay back in your country and use your skills there? Because anywhere Nigerians go, they displace the people that are there. That is the truth. So eventually, there's no solution anywhere for the average Nigerian. In fact, for any Nigerian, there's no solution anywhere else but Nigeria. The solution for us all is in Nigeria. And until we fix Nigeria, there can't be peace for any Nigerian anywhere else in the world. Whatever you feel you are enjoying there, you are just wasting your time. That's the truth. So, and because of failed leadership, Nigeria cannot progress. So we all have a duty now. Maybe I am jumping the gun. Maybe I should wait for you to get there. But I think that to stop the insecurity in Nigeria, we need to be honest with ourselves, sincere, and we need to deal with the matter logically. And we also need to appeal to this leader, to the leaders of this invading group, that they should please stop their people from the carnages they are inflicting everywhere in the country. They should please. I wish I had access to the Sultan, for instance, the Emir of Kano, the Emir of Gwandu, the Emir of all of them. And I'll tell them that, look, if indeed you people are not supporting these invaders, if indeed you are not supporting these invaders, why don't you come together and see a way of discouraging them from continuing in what they are doing? You know, again, let me say something which is very critical. You know, all of the things I've been saying so far, everything is in the open space. I've not said anything that is not in the open space because I don't want anybody to say, oh, come and prove this thing, come and prove this thing. You can't come and tell me to prove that a governor said he gave money to bandits. Abi, it's there. You can't come and tell me that a governor is taking picture with bandits. You can't tell me to come and prove it. Abi, it's in the news. You can't also tell me to come and prove that even the arrested terrorists are integrated back into Nigeria's security system. It's in the news. So everything I'm saying so far is in the public domain. And therefore, my extrapolations and inferences are from these facts that are out there. And that's why I am courageous to say it. I'm not saying, oh, I did an investigation. I did an intelligence. I did this, I did that. No, nada. It's gone off again. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's
Okay. Let's continue, but I don't know. I think I don't know. Okay.
to us and to you too for just
When
because of the issues with the network. I think maybe we can just try and wrap it up. We were able to
yes.
at least have a, a seamless few minutes without any of the issues that we've been
Okay.
experiencing. Hopefully, yes. So I
Yes,
just want
I
us
agree.
to kind of yes. So in conclusion, I would like you to maybe just talk on some of you believe the most appropriate solutions, particularly like still zeroing on the focus on our focus on the problem of insecurity now, like some of the solutions. So we'll now use that to tie that to the the disagreements that people have across the country around in the interventions of the United States military or President Trump when he made that threat that he was going to intervene and the things that have happened since then. So we'll kind of conclude with that. But before we kind of go into that, the opinion on that, opinion, what are some of the solutions that we should explore forward?
Thank you very much, my dear leader. You see, to start with, I am suspicious of the intention of Donald Trump to start with. And I don't know how I don't know how he wants to I don't know how he wants to help solve Nigeria's problem by attacking these so-called these so-called terrorists in Nigeria. Because like I wrote in the document that you said you saw. Okay, the video you saw, there's actually a follow-up document which I
Yes.
sent to you. How can that military intervention solve the problem? As if that is the cause of the problem. You see, unless there's no problem. I was at a meeting sometimes a few days ago, and the meeting is about global citizenship and the role of concerned individuals and all of that. So, and I was saying, look, for those who are talking about problems, to solve any problem in the world, any problem at all, the first thing you need to do if you are genuine about your intention is to ask yourself, what is the cause of this problem? Do you understand? It is only when you understand the cause of the problem that you can say, okay, now I want to solve the problem. At that meeting, they were talking about the crisis of immigration. And they were saying, look, some of the, and all of these solutions that they brought up, I look at it and I ask them, I say, look, this is never going to solve the problem of European immigration or American or America. Well, the invasion of the West. That it doesn't matter how high the walls can again. So, like I was saying, there's no way you can solve a problem without dealing with the root cause of those problems. So, when we were talking about immigration and the influx of immigrants into the West, Europe and America and and then North America, I was quick to let them know that if you think the problem is in your countries, then you are wrong. Look, be killing them every day. Build a wall as high as heavens for people who are desperate to leave their countries. That can't stop them. People who risk the Caribbean Sea, as deadly as it is, will not be stopped by anything. That to solve the problem of immigration, we need to ask ourselves what is driving these people away from their countries. Because unless you solve that problem that is driving them away from their countries, they will keep running away from their countries. And some of them were like, oh, this sounds quite unusual, but this is true. This is very intelligent. And that they never looked at it that way. I said, look, that's the fact. But you keep thinking, oh, what is it? What they are doing in your country? You continue to think about it. What you are doing in your country. You want to build tall fences. You want to do this. You want to brutalize immigrants. You want to do that. I said, look, eventually this will even demean your own humanity. It will now put your own humanity to question the way you treat other human beings when they come to your country as immigrants, either legal or illegal. I mean, look at what America is. Look at what America is doing to immigrants now. Even the American people are fighting their government that you can't continue to do like this. This is inhumane. It's inhuman. So eventually, that's the message we're going to get from civilized society. They will fight against their countries and their government for brutalizing immigrants. So the earlier you people come to terms with this fact that I'm giving you, the better. If you want to discourage the immigrants, go to where they are coming from and help them have a good place that they can live in. Because some of them, in any case, some of these foreign countries are responsible for some of the bad situation in this country, in these immigrants' countries anyway. That's the truth. So, with regard to security, therefore, if genuinely Trump and other countries are interested in solving, in fixing the problem, they shouldn't be looking at the manifestation of that insecurity. The place for them to start is what is the cause of that insecurity. Now, you want to be bombing the foot soldiers. What are you doing to their sponsors? To those who are arming them, giving them information, and giving them the resources they require to carry out these heinous activities across the country. Have you considered reaching out to those people and rounding them up if necessary? If they are not going to be sympathetic and humane, have you thought about rounding them up and dealing with them appropriately? There are different reports that say, oh, I think there's a report that they said they have a list of 30-something Nigerian leaders who they have evidence that they are sponsoring this thing. So the question is, why haven't you done so? Without doing something to those people, you are killing their foot soldiers. Who cares? By the time you kill 100 or today, or you kill 1,000 today, what is the guarantee that by next year they won't go and recruit some other 1,000, some other 2,000 to come and be doing the same thing? Yeah, so that's one of the things that needs to be done. Another thing that needs to be done is the government itself sincere about this thing? The government is not sincere about it. Because if the government was sincere about it, they would have published the list that they said they got from somewhere, identifying those who are behind this carnage in Nigeria. And if I won't be outraged that Buhari didn't do much, because it may not be in his interest to do much. Now we have a so-called Yoruba man there now. What is he doing to stop the insecurity problem in Nigeria? The truth of the matter is that I was speaking to one of his people, one of his close aides some time ago, not long ago, a few days ago. And the guy was telling me that, you don't know what the problem is. And I was like, what is the problem? These people are so powerful. And I'm like, are you crazy? They are more powerful than the presidency in Nigeria. Who can be more powerful than the president in Nigeria? Stop talking to me as if I am a fool. I'm not a fool. If you think what you are saying makes any sense, one of us must be a fool, and I'm not the one. Because you can't say any power block within the Nigerian nation is more powerful than the presidency. The man that can change the service chief anytime he wants, and he's doing it right before our own very eyes. Removing chief of army staff, putting this one, removing chief of naval staff, putting it, and you're saying somebody else is in Nigeria is more. I mean, Abba, cut some slacks for some of us now. We may be stupid, but we're not that stupid. We're not that. We are not rankly stupid. Yeah. Even if you give us the latitude of stupidity, don't make it look as if we are absolutely stupid now. No. So I don't still understand why Tinubu hasn't done so much to ensure security in Nigeria. But I also know that he has a political agenda. And that agenda may be the reason that is discouraging him from going all out. Because look, if Tinubu wants to stop the security in Nigeria, he doesn't need America's help. Tinubu is a strong man. I live in Lagos. I know what Tinubu can do if he is ready to do it. Have you forgotten when the man came out and said, look, Emilio Khan, it is my turn to become Nigeria's president? Did you hear of that speech that he made where he said, Emilio Khan, it is my turn to become Nigeria's president?
It was invited. Everyone had it.
We didn't make that. He didn't make that speech because he was begging anybody to make him Nigeria's president. He was making that speech to tell anybody who cares to listen that, look, there's nothing you can do. It is my turn. I am going to get it. May have, even if the heavens is going to fall, it is my turn. I am going to become Nigeria's president. I am going to get it. That was the message. For him to come out and say, Emilio Khan, say, it is my turn now. Don't you understand? My brother, the man is a strong man, and I like him for that. He has courage, he has capacity. But why he's not facing this issue of insecurity, I don't know. Just like I don't understand why he said there is fuel subsidy on fuel and he removed it. Just like he came and said he wants to increase taxes across board. I don't know why he's doing that. But I know that if Tinubu wants to turn Nigeria around within a year, he can do it. He can do it. So I don't know, maybe it's his personal interest is protecting. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But it will be sad for a Tinubu to complete his tenure in office and still leave Nigeria with some of these problems or exacerbate those problems and make them worse. It will be really sad for whatever he represents and his heritage. It will be really sad. So I am using this opportunity to beg of him, if he ever gets to hear it, or some of his aides and assistants will hear it, that he should please become the father the Nigerians are looking up to and do the needful for the Nigerian people. We are begging him. I'm also using the opportunity to beg those leaders in the north, particularly the northwest, the emirs, the governor, the Fulani leaders there, that please, in the name of God, that you worship, that you claim you worship, stop these killings in Nigeria. Because everywhere the noise you hear is Fulani. If you go to Enugu, it's Fulani noise you hear. Go to Benin, it's Fulani noise you hear. Go to Oyo, it's Fulani noise. You go to Ondo, it's Fulani noise. Go to Jos, it's Fulani noise. So please, I'm using the point to beg the Fulani leaders, in the name of God that you worship, rein in these people and stop this bloodletting. Because, like I said in one of my press conferences some years ago, when the people are pushed to the wall, when the Nigerian people are pushed to the wall and they turn back, a billion Fulani or something will not stop them. It will be catastrophic. It will be calamitous. And that's why now I'm begging. I am begging from the depth of my heart all those who can get involved, particularly with regard to the Northeast, they should please quickly rally these leaders in the Northeast together and solve this problem and get involved actively in solving it. Now, my plea goes to other Nigerian leaders across the country. The Southeast, the Southwest, the Middle Belt, the South, everywhere, the Northeast. Leaders across board, business leaders, academic leaders, religious leaders, all leaders, I'm begging you people. Don't say, oh, it doesn't concern me, my children are safe, my wife is safe, my family is safe. No. Have the milk, some milk of human kindness in you now. Please, get involved. Call meetings, meet with people, discuss, consult, and make it clear that this situation, in the current situation in Nigeria, is not acceptable. And my warning is that if it doesn't concern you today, if it doesn't get to you today, tomorrow, it may get to you. To avoid that pending possibility, let's nip this madness in the bud now. It is a madness that has taken over the Nigerian landscape. Let's cure it. And lastly, my advice to the Nigerian people generally, stop sleeping. Stop sleeping. Each of the everything I have said today, don't take my words for it. Don't believe me. That is not my intention. My intention is to agitate you sufficiently to begin to question your own position on these issues and force you to make your own interrogations and researches and look for the truth yourself and then hold on to it and do the needful after understanding the full truth behind all of this. If you do not do something, eventually you will not have a country you can even call your own, not to talk about being proud of. If you do not wake up today from your slumber and begin to organize and coordinate yourselves and build structures to insist on what is right, trust me, we have had countries that have gone into extinction, and we have had countries that have been overtaken by people, by invaders. May Nigeria never experience this. May Nigeria never experience this by God's grace. For me, there's nothing anybody can do to help Nigeria from outside Nigeria. No foreign government, no foreign interest can fix Nigeria. Rather, it is what they seek to benefit that they'll be looking for. Even when they pretend that they want to help us, I am rest assured that nobody will use his money to come and help some other people now. That's the truth is that they won't do it. Genuinely, they won't do it. So if you see anybody saying they want to come and use their bombs that they use millions of dollars to fabricate, they want to use it to come and help us bomb some terrorists that are killing our people, there's something else behind it. There's something else behind it. So my own plea to the Nigerian people, Muslim, Christian, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, TV, Idoma, Igede, whatever, Igala, Shekiri, whatever. We need to come together to build the nation that we desire. Because if not, you are going to, eventually, the country will be taken over. And some people will just, and Nigeria will become one of the countries in the Middle East where there's no democracy. Nobody there. It is some people will just come and say, look, this is what we want, and that is it. We can't afford to become a country like that, where democracy will be completely abandoned. No, we can't afford to be, because at that situation, nobody's going to have fun. So that is my plea to everybody. I hope they will get to hear, and I hope they will get to do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. This was a very productive conversation. I really learned a lot, and I'm sure everybody learned a lot too. I don't know how active you are on social media, but if you're active on some of these social media platforms, where can people find you? Maybe where do you sources? Is there any place like that people can find you?
No, not currently. Not currently. But I hope that
Okay.
with time, I'm working on some. Like I said, we can't abandon Nigeria. We can't abandon Nigeria. So I'm working on something. When it's ready, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll let you know, and then we'll take it
Okay.
from there. There is a platform on Facebook. There's also a WhatsApp platform. Like I told you the other time when we were talking. It's called New Nigeria now. If you go on Facebook and you check for New Nigeria now, I'm sure you'll see something there. But about over 10,000 people are in that group, But for some time now, we've not been doing much with it because I was studying the situation in Nigeria. Now it has become evident that we can no longer wait for some messiahs to come and help us. We have to become the messiah that we are looking for. Every Nigerian has to be the messiah that he or she is looking for.
Exactly.
And that's the only way we can help them. Either security, either economy, either environment, either education, either health. The only way to solve Nigeria's problem is by becoming the messiah that we are looking for. So I will get active soon, and hopefully. But for those who want to reach out to me personally, my numbers. I don't know if I can give them my number on the phone. Online is on WhatsApp only though. It's 0802 083 8353. I'll repeat it once more. The number is 0802 083 8353. Because I believe we must come together. We must bind ourselves. We must come together, because without coming together, we can't help Nigeria, and we can't even help ourselves. So let's talk. For those who want to get in touch, please do. I'll be waiting, but it's WhatsApp call only. That's it. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that. For those people who are watching currently who are not members of PACT yet, we have a project that we're currently undertaking, a project for national transformation. We call it the Project for Advancement and Civic Transformation. So you can easily see it on most social media platforms. On Facebook, you see us there. And you can also search on your WhatsApp channels. You would see our public channel there where you can follow us and you can be a part of this and see what we are doing and see how you can help and contribute. So I'm looking forward, and I'm sure Mr. Quadiri too is looking forward to hearing from all of us. And I believe, like he has said, we are working on change in this country, and I'm very, very confident that up till now, we've not just done enough, we've not put out the right ideas, we've not organized enough, and it looked like, oh, things are not working, but it's because we have not really got into the core of what we need to do. And we are right there. We are on track, and I'm very sure that within the next, in the near future, people begin to see the things that we are about and what we are trying to do, and it's going to be getting obvious very quickly that the solution is really near and it's very possible. Nigeria will be fixed. I do believe that. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Thank you very much,
brother,
for your time.
the opportunity to interact with you and fellow Nigerians. I am grateful, and I am really appreciative.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. That'll be all for now. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.